You're listening to The Building Code. I'm Tom Houghton.
I'm your co-host, Paul Worth.
Hello, co-host Paul. How are you?
Again, I'd like to switch it up.
You do.
Yeah. I'm doing well, if that was a real question.
I do care about
I'm doing great. You know why I'm doing great?
Yeah.
A couple reasons. Number one, we're live at Buildertrend University, and we have our first ever recurring guest on the podcast.
True story. It's very exciting. I'm excited. You're excited. Our guest is excited.
So excited.
Well, he hasn't really said it.
Now let's ask him.
Yeah.
Introducing Matt Troyer, our first repeat guest from Emergent Construction, the CEO there. Matt, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks, gentlemen. It's been
Hello.
an awesome trip.
It's been a year-ish. It was last January, right?
10 months.
10 or 11, yeah.
Because it was in February. IBS was in February this year, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The International Builder Show.
Yeah, we always got to clarify that for people not in the industry.
Just in case.
Do you guys make that joke too in your business, the IBS joke?
Well, I did have IBS 10 months ago, but that's a different question.
There you go. Whoopsie daisy. We're not going to go there. There's HIPAA laws there somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't need to disclose.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time you mention that you're going to that, and
people don't get it.
Everyone looks at you a little funny. So.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a true story.
Well, welcome back. We're excited to have you. So a good place to start is what's changed
It's
in 10 months.
Well, hang on. Before we get to what's changed, I feel like we should start where we kind of left off.
Oh, that's right.
When we left off back in February, you mentioned that, hey, you're going to come out to BTU maybe in like June or something. It's now December, and you chose to come to Omaha, Nebraska in December. So maybe let's talk about that choice.
I just heard it was a beautiful place to be in the cold, so
It is.
But the reality was we've been trying to schedule this for at least the 6 months, and every month I looked at the link, looked at the dates, and realized that I just couldn't make it work. So, we brought 4 of our team, and I wanted to bring at least a handful of us so we could have half the team or so to be here to get a lot of the value out of it. So
Awesome.
And do you feel like bringing all of the team, like 4 people on the team, you feel like that was a good choice?
I do. It was really good. I didn't realize you were going to do alternating classes, so it was good for us to divide and conquer on the 2 different classes going at a time to have people in all of them. So
Absolutely.
really
so
valuable.
We're here on day 2, just to kind of set the scene.
Yeah.
We're here on day 2. You've got 4 people here. You've been through the whole experience. What's your takeaway?
Well, do I sound tired or no?
Yeah.
No.
You sound like you've had a good time.
So I've had a great time.
Yeah.
It has been a whirlwind of information, though. It's but I think that I think I told a couple of you after the first session yesterday morning, like I walked out of it and I was like, we've already gotten value out of the trip after the first session. So it was enough to justify the trip after the first session. So
well, that's interesting because I think a lot of people assume I'm not using Buildertrend. I should go to Buildertrend University, but we were just talking. I would consider you guys a very good super user style. And you're still finding value. That's good.
We've been with, I think I looked it up, April of 2015, but then I think we mentioned maybe we were in 14 before, and we gave it a trial, and then backed it off and got back in it. So, but yeah, I think we can learn at every level of how to do things better or new features you guys have rolled out, honestly, in the 3 or 4 years we've been doing it. You've changed a process that's made it easier, something different that like kind of, it disrupts our flow, but it's once we learn it, it makes it so much better too to change how we've done it already.
Yeah.
So
that's great. Yeah. I mean, I think that's ideally we'd love for every single client to understand every single new feature, but the reality is you guys are running and gunning at your own business, and we try to communicate, but it's impossible really to communicate all changes every time. So I think you had mentioned when we were talking offline that like just getting out of the office and getting the distractions away.
It's good for the team to do something out of the ordinary and like to come here and actually focus on really, I guess, just working at, I think Joe mentioned it, just working on the business, not in the business, and just involving your team in that, which is awesome. And that's kind of the good way to, because we're big on culture and want the team to be excited about what we're doing and be a part of like making decisions and how we do our process. So having those key roles here have been great for that. So yeah,
that's awesome. I can tell. Like, it seems like you guys have been having fun, which is good. So Matt, you're huge on Instagram and social media. So I've been following your stories. You got up at like 6 a.m. before the first day and ran when it was like 6 degrees out.
Yeah, so we did track our adventure. The day we came in, we about missed our flight by down to 15 seconds, and they about closed the gate on us. So we ran through Chicago Airport to get our connector. So
Home Alone style.
Yeah, nice. We barely made it, but then I met Daniel from Chattanooga, and the two of us woke up the first morning and got out bright and early, and 24 degrees, I think it was.
Wow.
Knocked out a 10K, so that was good.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's pretty
Love
impressive.
the dedication.
he's a beast though. He's like a former college decathlons guy,
really?
so he was hardly breathing and I was huffing and puffing. So, but we did it. So.
Nice. And then you guys went to some bar for golf simulation.
Yeah, a little golf bar, a little virtual golf bar, and stayed out a little bit too late. And but yeah, we did that before we ran, so I got about 5 hours of sleep, and then we got up and ran. So
Jeez.
it was a whirlwind.
That's awesome.
I don't have my 3 kids here with us, so it's a little easier to. The 5 hours I do get of sleep are good. So
There you go.
Exactly. That's kind of a
Uninterrupted.
spin.
yeah.
That's a good spin to like the value prop of Buildertrend. We always talk about getting out of your business and like focusing on Buildertrend, but also it's a team building thing if you bring a team.
It
Absolutely.
really is. Yeah, those moments are huge. And we actually wrestled with, we were going to have you guys come to us and do customized training. And I still would like to explore that, but I think it's nice to get out of our office and do a change of pace. And these, everybody can see something different and the value that you get that's a little bit different than the specialized, even just one-on-one with us. So
Yeah, I mean, inevitably in the office, even if we bring us, which is helpful, but inevitably just day to day, people are pulling you, putting out fires left and right. But if you completely leave the office, that's
put up the vacation responder and tell them we'll get to him on Friday.
yeah,
so.
block the notifications. You're good. Yeah, that's good. That's awesome.
So 2 quick takeaways for BTU. First one I want to ask is, what was your favorite class?
Ooh, that's got to be the, let me look at my list. I think it's the Advanced Job Costing 201.
Well, I was just a little skeptical because Tom taught 2 classes, so I thought he was setting himself up for...
No, I genuinely care about his experience at all of the classes.
Okay, good.
I should have
good.
said the video one.
Okay, there you go.
It's okay.
It was very good.
No hard
but,
feelings.
Yeah. The content-wise of Buildertrend process, that was a good marketing video session for sure.
There you go.
The Buildertrend related classes, Taylor's Job Costing 201, I think was hands down my favorite. So,
Cool.
Boom.
And I think that could be a little bit of an overwhelming class for some of the intro users or people that are just trying to adopt some of the features. But I feel like we got to dig into some good, deeper stuff that was really strategic for us on how to do our workflow.
Awesome.
Because Matt and I were just talking about this before we went on air, as it were. Buildertrend is a software, right? And let's say you're Joe contractor and I want to level up my business by getting a software system that helps us automate our processes. That's one piece of the puzzle. There's also like this middle ground of workflow as a business that you've got to commit to or reevaluate when you get a software. Is that fair?
Yeah. I think one of your hurdles on the sales side is you're trying to we talk about disrupt our operations as a company. And I think it's with a genuine interest in like if people would adopt your services and your workflows, it will improve their business, and that you guys clearly know that and have customers that can back that up. But it's a disruptor to change how everybody does their entire business and not just one piece of their industry. So
Right.
that's probably one of your biggest hurdles. But I think it's once you do that and you prove value, and it's every time we add a feature, we're like, wow, why did we not do that before?
Right. Yeah.
But it's literally taking the time and committing to doing it and then it paying off.
Yeah,
So.
it's that commitment from the owner and the team.
Yep.
Because you can't just drag them along. They've got to have a buy-in, like you mentioned, and then it all sort of works when you do that.
Yeah, I think I mentioned the first podcast. Like, just we put our noose per se out there to hang ourselves. Like, if we've said we offer this platform to our customers, like, and then we don't update it and we don't do it right, like, we've just said that we should be a premium because we do this service, or it's worth this because we offer these features. And then if we don't, we look like fools and we fall on our faces. So
that's
how
good pressure.
important it is. Yeah,
Good pressure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Good.
Second question about BTU. What's one takeaway that you're like, as soon as we get back to the office, this is what we got to start working on?
I think leaving your office, I'll talk business-wise, like the beautiful culture you guys have here is outside of the software that we work with you guys on. I think just hearing that and getting more stuff in the office that's culture related and like not just the fun, cool stuff that you have here, that's awesome, but like the words on the walls, the empowering stuff that you guys do with your employees and the positive feedback notes that are on the walls, like just to like driving home the fact that if we want to be big on culture, like the value of that and what that can do for your business and all across all facets. So that's totally outside of your software, but I think that's one of the biggest things. Obviously, we have 4 pages of notes that we each took that are things we need to do to make our experience with Buildertrend better and how we can tweak it for our customers. But I think, I don't know, I'm blown away by you guys, and I appreciate the partnership with you guys of a company that you're not a Microsoft and you're not a big giant that we're just buying a monthly service from. Like you're a team of people here that's like literally like passionate about being a partner in our business, and it ties hand in hand in that because you're trying to be a part of the company's operations so deeply that I think that's why it also works. Like you have a team that really does that and does that internally here. So
yeah, that's really great to hear. That's one of the surprising things we've gotten from Buildertrend University. This is our 20th one, right?
Yeah.
So it's our 20th, and it's we didn't expect people to come here and like the stuff we have on our walls, and what we mean by that is, the things we speak to with our team and how we hold them accountable in a good way. And we even talk about that when we're doing the tour. We kick it off with a tour every morning, and those are 3 things you can apply to your business for sure. I mean, if you talk to your team about bring effort every day, have a positive attitude, because that's kind of what it is. It's a positive attitude, and you really care about what you do every day, like that resonates whether you're in construction, software, or building widgets. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and that's such an important thing as the industry is changing. We're trying to attract a younger crowd across the board with customers and clients and employees and all that.
Yeah,
like that's where people see buy-in, and I see the way you guys are also able to leverage different people, really young people that you're trying to get here in a market that's probably not where you're getting you would not expect the best people to be, right? Like or the most tech savvy people to be. So you're trying to create that environment, and you guys are crushing it with that. So.
Yeah, I think people are always surprised by how young our crew is, but also how much they care about construction. Like it's sort of like weird to people. It's like, why do all these young, besides us, like why do all these young, good-looking people actually care about like my construction business? And I've always wondered that. I think it speaks to our ownership, and it speaks to those things on the wall. So we appreciate that you noticed that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Just to level set with the listeners, in case you don't know Emergent, you need to. Please check out episode 4. That was when we first talked to Matt, and it's a great episode. You can find out a little. I'm not going to give it away, but we talked about the meaning behind your name of the company in that episode.
That's
so a little teaser to get in there.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to episode 4, and you'll find out the details on that. Also, background on your company, because we usually talk about that when our guests come on. But then go listen to episode 4 for more details on you. But let's dive in.
A little teaser. I'll just say you are from Indianapolis. We'll listen to the episode for everything else.
Yeah.
But you're in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Colts season? What are we thinking?
It's a little rough.
It's quick digression
right now, but yeah.
Off of episode 4, we talked to you 9 months ago. You were talking about obviously coming to BTU, which we've talked about. We talked about implementing the software a little bit more. But let's just do a check-in and see kind of where you're at now, right? So here we are. First, maybe let's start off with Instagram. I feel like that's a quick hit. You were just getting ready to cross over 5,000 followers back in February, and now I just checked, you're almost at 6,000.
Yeah, hopefully.
So that's a pretty solid growth pattern.
Yeah.
I think for any business over that basically like 10-month period, let's say.
Yeah.
So
I'd clearly like to be more, but it's been good. So it's been an effort that I think it all falls on me because I haven't handed it off totally to really anybody yet. But so it's pretty decent growth, but it's still an incredibly valuable tool for us, and I think it does tie down to a number that we're going to track through Buildertrend's leads a little bit better of where those come from. But we think it's at least over 50% of our business comes still from Instagram. So
it's amazing.
The initial contact, and maybe they follow us on all the other channels, or they come somewhere and then but I field messages all day from clients that are like, they love something, or I can't wait, I'm saving up money so we can talk next year, that kind of stuff. So it's a really valuable tool. We have a really young client, or young following, which is nice because you can see the analytics, but I think that age group is coming into an era of their second home or their next project that they want to do that's a little bit more suited for where we want to be and what works for us. So but it's kind of nice to build that following that we hopefully will, it'll pay off in the future with even more business. So
nice.
Instagram's just so interesting. And I'm digressing a little bit, but like I follow your story. It's like I know you guys. Like I know. It's
you feel like you're part of it.
It's like an episode every time. And it's like, okay, that's what he's doing, and that's cool.
Yeah,
because that's got to help when it comes to them actually being ready to come talk to you. It's not as new to them. They're like, oh, this is just Matt. Yeah, we're just going to talk about my project.
You finally got to meet them, and you feel like you knew them for the whole time, or they knew me for what we do.
Right.
So.
And so that's important to know. Like, you can't just post photos of like your jobs. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think that fully does what Instagram does for you. You got to put yourself out there. There's got to be personality behind it. You got to do stories, right?
Yeah, it's gone through waves, and I feel like there was a lot of people that did it for a lot of technical stuff or tool reviews, and I think that's kind of gone away. People get a little bit burnt out with that kind of stuff, but it still needs to be valuable. So there's still guys showing off really cool tools and what they can do, but it's less salesy. It's more like the accounts that people really want to follow are more like good knowledge or stuff that they're teaching tips and tricks and like things they're doing, or they're telling a story of what they do, because we're clearly talking construction industry here, because there's plenty of other platforms that do it, that use that tool and do really well with it. So
I just think the angle is like, I know me, like I'm scrolling through my stories when I'm on the couch, when I've done all my stuff, my kids are in bed, and like I'm barely watching TV and I'm on my stories. So it's almost like TV. It's really what it is. And so it just needs to be entertaining. And just following a story is entertaining, like whether it's technical or not.
Yeah, and I think the reality too is we've tried to portray that with our reviews, and I've sent that to my customers of, don't give us the TV version of stuff. Like I actually really like our reviews that come through the best, that are like, it was a struggle, like the process was a struggle, but at the end of the day, like they navigated us through a challenging process, and we're very happy, and we would hire them again. We would recommend the team over again. So it's not to falsify like how hard a remodel is, especially if you're living there, like how tough that can be, and give people the taste of the reality of like, hey, you're signing up with us for a difficult process, because it is, but we're going to make it as easy as we possibly can. But we're also real people. Like we may mess up, we will mess up, but we're going to make it right.
I love the honesty. I think in marketing in general, that's what people want these days. They don't want the sugar-coated version.
It's true.
Like they don't want me as like the VP of marketing at Buildertrend going, Buildertrend's the greatest. Right? Like that doesn't resonate with people. It's like, obviously we love our software, but there's going to be some realities to our software. Like we just talked about, like you need to adopt it to your business. You need to commit to us as much as we're committed to you.
You guys
work.
You're balancing how much you can invest in these tools that people think they need, but do they really know that that's the most important feature, right? Like, that's not the best use of your 550 people here. Like so there's an incredible team, but like it costs money to roll out features. So we get that. And it's like the 3 or 4 years we've had your service, like how much it's changed because you guys have grown too. So it's a fine balance. So
it's good. A little marketing tip for you. Be real.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about that with our latest video that we just threw up on the .com. You know, we put it up because we wanted real stories of people using Buildertrend. So
good, the bad, and the ugly.
Absolutely.
There you go. Good.
So, speaking of Instagram, though, you had a post go viral.
We did.
Oh, we did?
Yes.
It was technically on Facebook, but still social media. And it's funny because I pulled the stats up yesterday. It was about a year and a half ago, and I posted the same picture on Facebook and Instagram both, and it was a picture of a porta potty, in a flood, like it had flooded at the house we were building. It was in a field, and it flooded around the porta potty. So it was like a foot of water, like in a huge area. So it looked like a porta potty sitting in the middle of a lake, basically.
Oh yeah.
And I just captioned like, best caption wins an Emergent t-shirt. And I was going to give out a t-shirt to whoever comes with something funny. And it did okay on Instagram. Like we had a decent hit and got a bunch of comments and stuff. But on Facebook, I just checked it, and it was 4.5 million reached.
Millions.
981,000 engagement and 151,000 comments.
151,000 comments?
Yeah. And there was 3,200 shares. So we hadn't done a bunch.
All for a t-shirt.
All for a t-shirt.
People do crazy things for t-shirts.
So I think I gave out 10 t-shirts, but then I had messages for months of like, hey, who got the t-shirt?
Yeah.
I never saw you give out the t-shirt.
Yeah. We got to follow up with that one, or they're just be hounding you for that t-shirt.
Right.
The funny ones I like are the 5,000 people that hid all of our posts after that. And then,
you can see that?
2 unlikes of our page. So.
Oh, nice.
But
all right.
We didn't have a very big presence on Facebook at that point. But I think we got about 2,000 followers from that post alone.
That's
so
awesome.
It's hilarious. But one that didn't get traction on Instagram that did really well on Facebook. But
there you go.
There's really no rhyme and reason to why things go viral. It's like this weird sort of like you just got to hit it.
I think
right thing.
Then Facebook, I think their analytics are different, because I think the way that the people post and reshare things, you don't do that on Instagram. So it's more likely to go viral in that environment on Facebook because the way their platform is built.
Right.
I'm speaking from a guy that doesn't really know much about the technical side of social media, but
And Facebook just changed their algorithm for how they track business pages and how they show business pages to consumers. So that's been a little bit of a game changer for our industry.
In a good way? I'm not a big.
It's made it more difficult.
Guy.
It's made it more difficult for business pages.
Right.
So you obviously have a business page for your company on Facebook. Let's see, probably about 6 months ago, they changed the algorithm because the problem is you would have consumers using Facebook complaining about how many businesses they were seeing post. So in order to show more, people content versus business content, they made it harder for businesses to get in front of people.
Right.
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to run the experiment again and see.
Repeat.
It's about that time of year,
right? You
Yeah.
can totally recycle that content. There's probably something there.
It worked
no
that
laws.
well, yeah.
That's awesome.
Be interesting to see what happens.
I think to your point in the video that you talked about, the class, I did it organically, and then I went and paid for the same post. Like I boosted
to boost
it, or
it, yep.
And it didn't do as well as the organic.
Yeah.
Like once it took off organically, they let the organic stuff happen.
Absolutely.
Which I guess is a little more pure, but
yeah.
I watched the difference once I paid, and it didn't really change it that much.
Yeah. It's really, you're just paying Facebook at that point.
Yep. You're just giving them money.
Yeah, exactly. Which they'll take gladly.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, I feel like we've kind of talked our ears off about social media.
Yeah.
So, but if you're not following Emergent,
do that.
Do that immediately at Emergent Indie.
-Indie. We changed it from an underscore or from a or it's an @ underscore indie, because it was just Emergent Indie with no dash, and everybody's like, what's Emergent Indie?
Yeah.
So it's Emergent _ Indie. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's December. How long have you been running your business?
2007, but full time at it 2012.
Okay, so is this around the time of year that you plan for next year? Is that a part of your process?
This has been a really good year for us, like growth wise. So like, and I don't say growth like revenue or anything. It's been an okay revenue growth year, but like structurally and foundationally, we've grown a lot. And we actually got our 2020 budget like hammered out in November, late October. Mm-hmm. So. And I will be truthful, like that's the first like legit budget we've ever done.
Right.
So, and it feels good. So it's kind of kind of poised for some growth.
Yeah,
so.
That's awesome. So you start planning, so you should start planning in November, but the reality is we all don't do that. And we all don't set budgets. But what else do you look at around this time of year? Like what are the things you're considering? Because I honestly don't know. In your business as an owner, like what do you look at for a plan of next year?
Yeah, I think it was good. It was good that we started that in October. I think it's probably a good time of year to start thinking about coming into the fall. Obviously, we're in a market where the cold weather does slow things down a little bit.
Yeah,
we've been fortunate for the last 5-7 years that we really haven't slowed down volume-wise of work, because we do a lot of interior work as well. So we're fortunate there. But I think it's just a good time to reset everything almost, and not to blow it all up and start over, but like it's a time to peek at all the different areas of where we can improve. And clearly, as fundamental as Buildertrend is in our operational flow, like it's a perfect time to come here. We probably would have preferred to come earlier just so we could have done this 6 months ago, but I think it's also a good time of year is because everybody's thinking about a reset, and like what can we do next year and what can we strategically plan out for the next quarter and the quarters after. So, but we're definitely we've been strategic about the different segments of our business with remodeling, new construction, investment properties, and commercial build-outs. So I'm excited about continuing the pretty solid growth in all four of those segments, and it's really our growth plan to like stay diversified enough that nobody wants to talk about market speculation or what things are doing, but if there's a potential slowdown, I mean we're not seeing it in remodeling, nobody's seen it too bad in housing, but something will shift eventually. So it's kind of nice to be thinking about, and we're diverse enough in those four different segments to stay busy in any market with our current team. So because we've been through one of those scary times, 2007 and 8, so, and then in 13 again, really for us. So
do you get specific enough to go through revenue targets, and do you segment that in with the different styles of construction you do, or is it just an overall revenue target?
We have, this year's actually the first year we've kind of mapped out those four different segments to try to hit a target of our new construction goal for next year, our remodeling goal for next year, how many houses do we want to buy and sell next year, the commercial world as well. So, and then maintaining our portfolio of rental properties. So it's kind of there's definitely strategy there of like which buckets we want to be poured into more so than others next year. So.
Yeah. And so like for somebody who's never done this, and there's probably a lot in this industry and all of industry, like what's the framework? Do you just say, here's a realistic revenue number, and then we back our way into how we get there? I need this many leads to get this many sales at an average project price of this, and then that's the North Star. Let's go.
Yeah. We've tried to compartmentalize that out a little bit. I think a lot of it is our hard cost of doing business, which is me, my partner, our office staff, our project managers, care on selections, estimator, Austin. Like we know we have those costs, and then we got to figure out, okay, with these 6 or 7 people, we've got to at least be doing X dollars a year, like, $5 million or whatever it is. Like we got to hit that number at the margins we're projecting our work out and all that kind of thing. So, and then having field staff's a little different because we use them as a cost of goods sold. So as long as we have enough work for them, like we're either going to sub it out or do it with employees. So that kind of funnels that. But yeah, we try to back into how does that track down the leads and how many, because it's a slow burn in our world. I mean, it takes me a while on a big remodel somebody doesn't reach out and they're like, let's ready to sign next week and let's do it. Like there are those, but it's such a hard process. Like there's a lot to wrestle through. So it is a slow burn, but we do try to wrestle with how many of those different types of leads there are, and I don't have great numbers of what those look like, but it's as many leads as we can take is kind of the goal, and then wrestle with which ones are the best fit for us. 1 as a customer, 2 financially, and 3, I guess, is it a project that we really want to do? Like is it a cool project that we want to be proud of? So,
absolutely.
So there's a lot of those things to wrestle with, and the different segments of business allow us to do a few different things because obviously investment property work is a little bit different than a high-end remodel. So, but it's also hard to adapt and stay on all fronts to be able to cover all those. So,
the first step is literally just analyzing your business and saying, for this type of project, it takes 6 months. Let's just make that our lead to sale, and then this one's this and this one's that, and here's the average revenue for these, and then it all just sort of works if you start thinking about it that way. Right?
Yep. And we're a cabinet dealer of our own line of cabinetry, so we have that little bit that we do as well, which means more design, more stuff in house with our team, and with the staff of carpenters, it's how many kitchens do we have to install next year? How many trim packages do we need to put in to justify having 4 guys or 6 guys or people? But what does that look like? So it's kind of a challenge of a lot of different math fronts to put numbers to it. So.
And so is it fair to say some people, that's scary and it's intimidating to do and it's a lot of planning? So do some business owners just shut their eyes and go, let's roll?
I think there's definitely some truth to that. If you,
which is understandable, right?
Yeah,
that's a lot of work and it's scary.
Yeah, some days you just got to risk it and go for it. I mean, you got to know what those people cost you and what the minimum operating is. But and at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, it's coming out of my pocket, out of the profit. So so I'm the one that loses if it doesn't work, So, but there's certainly an inherent amount of risk that I've become a little bit more tolerant over the years. But it takes some time and some courage, and and it's not easy. So, and everybody's levels are different.
Yeah, and we talked about this in our first podcast. Is like it's scary to take that jump to own your own business, and this is a part of it. And so I guess there's just sort of levels to you just keep making jumps. Scary ones. Yeah. They get less scary though.
They do. And it's, and every new employee, that's okay, I'm committing to this salary. Okay, now I got to produce even more. Can we do that? And having that right person that really can produce value for the money you're going to pay them and get them bought in on the system is really key because that can destroy your budget.
Right. It just speaks to what we talk about a lot, which is hiring's important. And if you miss, that's a big investment for you to miss on and reset.
Yeah. Adapt quick and change quick if it is a miss. So.
Yep. Good. Yeah. So nobody here that you brought some miss though. Yeah. They're not listening.
Kara's sitting about 10 feet from us.
Yeah. She's
Kara's
working out okay.
Hire. She's actually the Instagram master.
Okay. So far so good.
Yeah.
Shout out Kara.
Yeah. So.
All right.
But she's been a great addition. She's an example of that. So now she does design, selection, coordination, pre-construction with our team. So a role that we did, but it was kind of we limped by, and a couple people looked at it, and it's we finally had enough volume to justify a person that we could dedicate just to that. So the beauty of running a business, I think, is that the bigger you grow, the more specialized your jobs can get.
Yeah.
But it's hard as a small business because you have to start off with more jack of trades kind of people, jack of all trades people, and then you can justify a little bit more money and better salaries and better people that can get more specialized.
Yeah.
So.
And just in general, we have to dive into it. Have you seen the return on making that leap to specialization?
We do time after time, as long as we can continue the growth.
Right.
I think that's every time we're how do we live without them person?
Right.
How do we live without this Buildertrend feature? How do we do the spreadsheets and selections before this system? It's one of those things that makes you feel dumb looking back of how did I not think it was going to, how could I not believe it was going to pan out?
Right. Yeah.
But there's still a lot of, and there's times where it doesn't pan out.
Right.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just real quick on that, don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole on the hiring thing, but obviously people are looking at 2020. They might be thinking about adding somebody to the team. Would you mind sharing some of your thoughts on how did you find these great people? What was that process like for you?
Well, she's a great example. We keep talking about social media. I met Kara through Instagram. So actually our young carpenter that just started for us, he also came from, I think it was Facebook or social media. So it's also a tool that it's not just about company brand of the clients. It's also an internal cultural company brand of the more people are excited about coming to work for a brand that has a following,
right.
or just making those connections of thinking that, not to act like it's falsifying who you are, because it does make you feel like you're bigger than what we really are, but people see value in that, and it gives them a peek to the behind the curtains, like you said, of like showing some of our flaws or showing some of what we do. Like that also attracts employees. Like they get it, and showing off your employees, right? So it's kind of you guys rolled out the Buildertrend Life, I kind of think recently, right?
That's right.
It's fun to follow because like you see all the silly stuff you guys do around the office. So it's that kind of stuff that builds culture. That it's you're marketing to your team as well.
Yeah, we heard that on this stage from Nick from NS Builders. He said the exact same thing. He found 2-3 and he named how it happened, and they've been great employees for him. So
sorry, Nick, I didn't listen to your podcast.
We won't tell.
We talk often though.
Yeah, you guys are fun.
That's awesome. I also wanted to follow up. You mentioned the rental side. I feel like that's something we don't typically hear from the builders we talk to. I wouldn't mind. Would you mind sharing a little bit more about what that looks like for your business?
Yeah. So we have about, I think it's about 10 units that are rental properties, single families and duplexes, and we've set them up now as a job in Buildertrend for full functionality of repairs and maintenance and costs there. We did not click on the tenants to be the customer. I've thought about rolling that out, but we do have, and we've also used it for our other side of the business, the investment properties that are our own projects, but we're the developer on. And we're going to start using the daily logs as our updates to our investors and have them be the customer of the job. And they won't look in, you see everything on it, but it will be a trigger for us to be able to send them a nice, clean update with pictures and where we are on it. So, I think that learning this afternoon of like other creative ways to use Buildertrend, like it's good to, there's a lot of tools there for whether it's internal, company management, and we built out our office in the last year and a half. We've done a decent amount this last year, so our office is a continuous job in Buildertrend that any costs related to maintenance or improvements in our space we use for that, and then we're going to take back a lot of what we learned today and put it in the to-dos of that and create that as our kind of team management landing spot, and assign to-dos to that. So
yeah,
nice.
See, I think a lot of people sign up for Buildertrend and go, okay. They look to us and say, how should I use daily logs? Well, our job is to show you functionally, like how you create a daily log and like where you do things functionally, but like use it any way you want.
Yeah.
And open your mind to that, because a lot of our features can be used a lot of different ways.
Yeah, all the sheets and data with adding your own columns. I mean, you can basically make it your own Excel spreadsheet or something.
There's so much customization to it that you can definitely dive in and do that. That's neat to see your usage of it outside of the box a little bit.
And I get it. You guys are trying to get your claws in everywhere. So that's right. Talked with Jeff about that. The more you have us, the more we can't leave, right?
Yeah. So, we call it stickiness.
We'll pay what you want,
As long as there's mutual benefits.
Exactly. We're just an equal opportunity business partner.
That's right. That's right.
So
it's perfect.
That's awesome. Well, Matt, I feel like we probably should wrap up, but first, I want to talk about one more hot topic, your car.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wait, what's going on with this car?
Yeah. Well, tell us about your car, Matt.
I think they saw on social media that Kara had posted our travel to the airport from Indy, and I recently switched from a truck to a Tesla Model 3.
So
that's right.
Team Tesla over here.
Funny,
I'm feeling left out.
I mean, I'm a guy with a beard, and I look like I should drive a pickup truck, right?
Yeah.
So
how about the new Cybertruck?
I mean, it's a little out there.
That's a lot.
It's a lot out there. I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious to see what actually gets released when it comes out.
Right.
Yeah. It's the future.
It is definitely the future. A little edgier than I thought he was going to go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Model 3 has been a fun switch, and it's the Midwestern thing to justify that it's actually cheaper for me to own than a truck. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm doing a service to the country. Really.
You are.
So,
you are.
And to your own pocketbook.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it honestly does save money with fuel costs with a truck around the city for a guy like me that doesn't really need a truck bed all the time.
Yeah.
And then I have access to our company vehicles if I need a truck. So it's been a fun ride. So
and it does hold a lot though. If you like fold down the back seats, you can stick a lot of stuff.
You could almost get a sheet of plywood in there.
All right.
Probably.
So are they a sponsor now of this podcast? Tesla.
Well, I'll make a call to Elon.
All right. Yeah.
I'll get him on speed dial.
He can pay me back for mine if he wants at least.
There you go.
Yeah. All right with that.
I like that.
Yeah.
But Tom has one as well, I hear.
Yes.
I do. Yes.
Is it blue? Is it Buildertrend blue?
No. It's midnight silver, which has a little bit of the blue in it.
Yeah.
So
I've thought about wrapping mine. I need to do something a little different. Maybe.
What color is yours?
It's black.
Okay.
I thought about wrapping it our gray or a matte gray color to be more on brand.
That'd be nice.
So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. Whenever,
Hey, Paul, you wanna buy a Tesla now?
All right, so when I get my Tesla, we'll have you back for the third time.
Yeah, there we go.
It'll be Tesla talk.
Okay,
all day long.
It's got enough microphones. We could probably record in the car.
And it's quiet too.
It is quiet.
Yeah, so we get a good audio.
Enough with the Tesla.
That doesn't have to make the cut, I guess. But whatever.
That's okay.
Hey, I'm the editor here.
He's gonna, trust me, it's gonna be in.
If my customers are listening, it doesn't cost you any more money.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
true.
Make sure that's a program note.
It's true. They start at $37,000.
Yeah, it's
if you're out there looking at a mid-size sedan like a Toyota Camry, which by the way, for the first time ever, so top selling car in California in the sedan class has been the Toyota Camry for years. And 2 months ago, so in October, the Model 3 outsold the Camry in California.
Wow.
So, I mean, because the price, it's not as expensive. Everybody hears Tesla and they think, oh my gosh, it's a $80,000 car, which they have those if you want them.
They do.
Mm-hmm. But the Model 3, $37,000.
And going from a 2500 that I had, like a 2500 quad cab, like leather, like you could spend $75,000 on a truck.
Absolutely.
Easily for some of the nice ones. So.
Yeah. There you go.
Tesla, there you go. A little pitch.
It's a Midwesterner, you got to justify your purchase. All
That's right.
But I got a deal on it.
Exactly.
Which you don't get a deal on a Tesla.
That is the other thing. There's no negotiations.
Well, hey, I appreciate that, though.
I do, too.
Everybody pays the same price, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to hassle with all that. So
put a deposit down. The car showed up at my house in 2 weeks. That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
All right, Matt, thank you so much for coming on the podcast again. We really enjoyed talking to you today. We, of course, appreciate your usage of Buildertrend and how much you've just adopted the system. So thanks for joining us. And again, we wish you continued success in 2020.
Thanks so much for having me. I have a good friend in Nashville who's doing a training with you guys next week. So he was texting me about how to sign up and what if he should. And I obviously encourage that. So
Good. Appreciate that, man. Yep. All right. Thank you.
Love what you heard? Don't forget to rate and subscribe to our podcast so you can hear from more guests that will benefit your business. Also, please check out our show notes page for more information on what we discussed on this episode. You can find it at buildertrend.com/podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Building Code.
Appreciate you.